We are back with a brand new game for Rants and Review. This is Happy Little Dinosaurs. It is a 8 and up game with 2 to 4 players, and they say it's going to take 30 to 60 minutes to play the game. So open this up and show you what comes inside. So you have your rule book, you have your meeples, you have cards, and then you have player boards. So generally you will set this up with all your dinosaurs all over the table, sitting in certain areas in front of you. But the whole entire point of the game is to earn 50 points as you're playing through, avoid disasters, and escape what's going on. You've got Bad Luck Bronto, Nervous Rex, Triceratops, and Stego. The general thing on top of that is each one has bonuses and negatives towards certain types of interactive rounds. So in your hand, you'd have, for instance, these 5 items. And then you would reveal a disaster. And then you would reveal a disaster. Each player would then pick a card from their hand to play down as their effect on the card. So for instance, let's play this card. This player plays this card, other players play that card, other cards of their type. Certain characters have benefits and negatives. So for instance, Triceratops gets -1 point for spot for anything that's kind of a natural disaster. So that's going to reduce this to a 6. The person with the lowest score takes the disaster card. But all players will score their points to move on the board. So Triceratops would move 6 points onto the board. But if he had the lowest number for some reason unbeknownst, it would take the disaster card and add it to his disaster pile. At this point, Triceratops is going to have an option to discard a card from their hand. They just choose one they want to get rid of. They might just choose that one. At the end of the round, you would draw back up to 5. Some cards have special abilities. For instance, this special Starfruit, during the score round, double the effects of the score booster and score sapper cards. And then Trinoculars, you may look at the top 2 cards in the deck, choose a card and add it to your hand, discard the other. So those are really nice kind of benefit bonus cards you can have played to affect the way the game is played. Now, there's an additional benefit and hindrance to having a disaster. Every disaster card you have allows you to move up an additional space at the end of the round, therefore allowing you to have more. But if you have 3 of one type of disaster or 1 of each type of disaster, that qualifies as being killed. So if you collect too many disasters, you're going to get removed from the game, and you're gone from the game. Like, it's not the round, it's the entire game. So the whole purpose of the game is trying to get to the end before you die, or being the last surviving dinosaur. It's pretty straightforward, but it's really fun, and it actually was a lot faster than you think. Even with the 50 points, I mean, you're playing cards that are going to have like totals of 9, like 0 to 9. So there's a good chance you might get a chance to move or not, depending on what cards you get played in your hand, and then you can always draw back up. Taking a disaster is the only option you have to discard a card. And another thing is, if you only got cards that don't have value on them, no value cards, you can then discard your hand. But those are the only options to discard hands. So it's really helpful to try to um, gain those point cards to take the higher points so you avoid the disaster, but also get to move further onto the map. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. It's like I said, it's a really fun game. Hopefully you guys pick this one up, and we'll see you guys next time.